What's up, everybody? What is up, everybody? Let's have a good time as always. Man, this tag on. There we go. Man, gotta love electronics, ladies and gentlemen. You gotta love electronics. One little whoop, and it says, "Oh, I can't do it. I can't hold it. It's all right." But we're here. We are here. Well, let's turn this up, man. Yeah. There we go. Wow. Yeah, man. Let's give this some volume. Let's go. You know, it's share time, y'all. Let's do this. Come on in, y'all. Take a seat, y'all. Come on in, y'all. Hey, take a seat. Take a seat. It's time to eat. Yeah. Intellectually eat. Not physically eat. Look, unless you got some snack, I'm all for it. Get a pen, get some paper, get a snack, got some water, and ready to rock and roll, man. So hit that share button, y'all. If you are on YouTube, go ahead and copy that link. Share it to your friends and your family and the public, if you will. Any wrestling forums that you know of that I don't know of, which would probably be most. So go ahead and share, man. This is a concerted effort to continue to expand the Pancakes and Power Slam show, and we're going to have a good time in class tonight, as we always do. And come on, fill it up. We're going to talk about Kratom, and that's been getting a lot of controversy over the past 3 weeks because of what's interviews and that was released, and yeah, it's received a lot of backlash. And so I'm going to talk about the psychological effects of using it, and we will break that down. So let's do this, y'all. We're about to have some fun, as we always do. If you haven't shared the link yet, do that. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that. It's your share time at the beginning of the show. And as people come on in, got the chat already getting lit up, having a good time. If you're new to the Pancakes and Power Slam show, we welcome you with open arms, man. And we thank you very, very much for being a part of the show. Thank you for all of the subscribers, man. The shows continue to grow. Even more people subbed throughout the week. So, it's one of those things, man. Like, I've watched so many hours and hours of YouTube research content and things like that, man. It's crazy of how, like, the algorithms start to increase and your numbers start to increase. It's like you got to grind it out until you get to 1,000 subs, and that's usually the threshold when the algorithms start to notice you a little bit more. So it's kind of like your own personal hazing. Like the first 1,000, and then as soon as you start to get past that, algorithms start to get a little better, and your product starts and your content starts to get more recognized. And so I appreciate that. Thank you, YouTube, for having me grind to 1,000 subs, but I made it. So take that, YouTube. And we really appreciate throughout the peoples who have subscribed to the Pancakes and Power Slam show. No arguing. Come on now. No arguing. I'm looking over here. We are adults here, and this is an intellectually astute group of people on the Pancakes and Power Slam show. So you tis, especially for patrons. Come on now. If y'all want a group therapy session on the house, we could discuss that on the patron. All right. So let's talk about Kratom. Let's talk about Kratom. So it's interesting, man. This is the reason why I love doing this show. Many reasons why I love doing this show. There's always something to talk about when it comes to psychology, like psychological effects, sociological, neurological. Like, it's really a big family. So from a psychological branch of things, it's always something to talk about. And I was going to talk about body shaming based on the Cora Jade stuff, and I made an announcement yesterday. I was going to do that, and then I saw the Joey Janela interview released and all the backlash that came with that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's actually a more buzzing topic as far as like what's going on right now. I definitely, I got research, I got everything ready for the body shaming. We're definitely going to be talking about that because people definitely need to know about that. It's very important to know about that. Right now, this slid in there real quick as far as just the Kratom use. and the psychological effects of that. And why am I talking about this today? We received the unfortunate passing of Sabu, Terry Brunk, and hardcore legend, ECW, former ECW world heavyweight champion. Just I'm a theme song guy, and many people know that. I mean, had a banger of a theme song, man. I mean, like Sabu and ECW and in WWE, well, WWE too, ECW especially, man. He had a banger of a theme song, man. And really, really good, like an Arabian type of gimmick with it, man. It was really, really cool. And just very homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu. That was what Joey Styles called him in ECW, and it stuck. And he really, I mean, he like, you know, he competed way before ECW. I mean, you know, I guess a good 5 to 7 years before ECW, before he became popular in ECW. Really about, yeah, I'd even say probably like because he debuted in WCW in '95, and he was real big in ECW before then. So yeah, I mean, probably I think he started around 85-ish, somewhere around there, mid 80s. And so he was around for a while before he became really big publicly, but ECW really gave him an opportunity to showcase his niche, and man, it really, really expanded greatly outside of that. All right, so but we saw a interview with Joey Janela, and again, you know, of course, we'll get Q&A, and people were asking me things, and I'll answer those questions. But this is not this show is a psychology class, just like we do on this show every single week, and y'all love it, and y'all give me wonderful messages with that, and I really thank you humbly. Thank y'all. Y'all are awesome for that. And I really enjoy doing this stuff, man. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to, do a lot of conjecture when it comes to that situation. But what I will do is I will inform, people of the kratom and the psychological use. Is it, it's too early to tell. Toxicology, there's no detailed toxicology, report as far as the cause of death. None of that is really public. It's none of that. But at the same time, the kratom reference when it came to the interview from GCW and Joey Janela, that really started to get a lot of flack within the internet community. And Joey Janela just recently, I think today or yesterday or something, this week sometime, he did a statement, and he humbly sent a post on X about the situation, got a lot of support, and then also a lot of people weren't fans of it as well. But I'm going to give you the educational version of all this. So I mean that's what my job is, and that's what I'm going to do. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, class is in session. All right, so kratom stems from the plant Mitrogyna speciosa, and it's indigenous to Southeast Asia primarily. Also has been talked about or discovered in areas of the Philippines and New Guinea is as early as 19th century. So it's been around for a while. And with this plant, it originally was used as field workers. So field workers would commonly chew its leaves, and they would use it to combat fatigue. And so they would be working in the field. They would get this kratom, plants, Mitrogyna speciosa. They would get the plant, they would chew on it, and it would be to relieve them from fatigue, to combat fatigue. and others used it as like a transcendental type of symbolism. They would do like doing spiritual ceremonies. So it had like a pain relief feel, but it also had like a hallucinating feel in many ways too. Like they would use it in spiritual ceremonies. So it's currently like it's been a big thing probably over the past half decade, about 5 to 7 years really is like it became so popular that the FDA started to talk about it. We're going to talk about, I'm going to give you some quotes for some medical doctors, some medical professionals. And the FDA started to really notice it, and they started to write about it and make statements about it. The United States, the Drug Administration, the CDC started to do something about it and do studies about it as far as the Kratom. And so it started to be, because it started to be to really balloon and grow in popularity. There started to be like more emphasis toward where are we going with this? What do we have this? What do we have right now? So that's basically what we're going to do with talking about tonight. All right, so it's interesting though that it's commonly used as a neuropathic alternative for mood and anxiety. All right. But because of its impact, and again, be nice, no arguing. We'll talk about that later. there's some beef between two of my patrons that's I don't do that here. If y'all want to talk about it, come on. Both of y'all are patrons, and we're going to do a group therapy session. So if you want to get juicy, go over to the Patreon, and we're going to be talking about that. Perhaps if they both come on, I'm going to be doing a group therapy session, it seems like. So join the Patreon and be able to get that Jerry Springer-esque episode tonight. It's going to be fun after doing a full day of therapy. So again, you're welcome for this. But I will say this though, when it comes to the Kratom, so here's the thing. When it comes to Kratom, it's been widely used as a self-treatment for symptoms associated with chronic pain, psychological disorders, and substance use disorders. And although it's become common over the past 5 or 7 years, it's actually still banned in a handful of states, a little over a handful of states. So, and there's local laws that are local bans on about 7 states. And so it's still banned in areas because, it's not FDA approved. It's not endorsed by, drug administrations or anything like that. Like none of that is from a wide perspective of all the, the administrations or the sites or all the all the companies that do the vetting process to approve stuff. I mean, there's many arguments of like, guess what? The FDA approves a bunch of other craziness. Why can't they approve, Kratom? Fair argument. However, when it comes to recreational use, Kratom is with small dosages. They use, it's used for these things, but the unfortunate part is it can become with any type of substance use, it can become addictive because your brain and your body gets more tolerant to it. There's many reasons why people become more tolerant of things, weight, age, gender, even. Like there's many different reasons why people become more tolerant of it. But one of the big reasons is if someone is frequently using something, they grow tolerant to it and they have to up their dosage. And the more they up their dosage, they become, more addicted to it. And here's the thing. Kratom is often used to balance out people with opioid use disorder, and it's to relieve them. They use it to relieve them, but the problem with that is they can start growing a sense of addiction to kratom, and that's been shown as well. There's been some links to that. So kratom is known to start working as quickly as just mere minutes, and it can last for several hours. And so, the reason why, if people were wondering why, the reason why kratom was used, and kratom, is used in this wrestling perspective, in this wrestling context, is because it was it's quick. It is a quick substance. I mean, within minutes, you can experience relief pain. Even in the interview, it was like, he came in, he was just not physically able to do it. He was given kratom by his management, according to what we've heard on the interview, the information that presented to us publicly, and then boom, he was just like that. The reason why is because studies show that kratom can work as early as mere minutes to relieve pain. And so that's the reason, that actually aligns with the reason why wrestlers use it, in this context in particular, why athletes, and there's been many studies to show that athletes do use it to relieve pain, but it's also can get into addictive behavior. But however, there's been many testimonials of people using it in small dosages, and it worked well. And a lot of people, similar to what I'm saying, there's been a lot of testimonies of people saying it was opioid use. I was addicted to opioids for so long, for several years. I take kratom now, and now, I've been clean and free and clear of alcohol or opioid use for several years because of taking kratom. So there's success stories that come with this for sure. It's just that the small dosages, how much do you get addicted to it because you don't want to go back to opioids or alcohol or any type of, like antipsychotic or anything like that, substance use. And so that's the reason why FDA or CDC don't approve of it, because of the potential harmful effects outweigh potentially the benefits of it. And so since kratom is not FDA approved, and here's the thing, FDA actually issued a statement in 2022, and it stated as, quote, not lawfully marketed in the US as a drug product, not appropriate for use as a dietary supplement, and that FDA, quote, will continue to warn the public against the use of kratom for medical treatment. So it is largely discouraged among, the United States Food and Drug Administration. It's largely discouraged. And so despite this discouragement, an estimated 10 to 16 million people use kratom for mood enhancement and pain reduction, as well as to alleviate opioid withdrawal, as I mentioned there. And so that's the thing when it comes to the opioid withdrawal, and the reason why people do it. There was a study that showed that I think in 2021 alone, 1.7 million people used kratom. So it's heavily used. It is a very highly used substance, but there's not any substantial research currently that shows the benefits of using the substance. A lot of people use it, especially from an athletic perspective, and a former substance abuser, substance use person who was addicted to another substance. Those are two groups of people who use it often. Also, people who want to regulate mood. I mean, those are pockets of groups. Those are groups of people who commonly use kratom. Unfortunately, the past 5 to 7 years since the boom period of this kratom, studies are actually showing that kratom is being affiliated with a cause of death more than expected. And their CDC conducted a research analysis of over 27,000 unintentional drug overdoses across 32 states and Washington, D.C. They found that 152 people who were found to have kratom in their system. It was determined that 91 of them had kratom as determined as the cause of death. You know, there's other Tampa Bay. They actually have like a toll. You know, there's like a Florida toll that talks about there's Florida articles that strongly discourage the use of kratom because of the fatality, potential fatality that can lead to. Now, granted, a lot of the studies show that kratom, and we'll get to that a little bit more in depth, but a lot of studies show that kratom mixed with something is usually the cause of fatalities. You know, it's not necessarily kratom itself, although the higher the dosage, the more, the higher the risk when it comes to potential death. But a lot of studies have shown that it's usually affiliated with something else mixed with it, that someone who's using kratom have a substance already in them. I believe 80% of studies showed that out of the 191 or 152, 80% of people on the aforementioned study, the CDC study, who had kratom in their system had a history of substance abuse, with nearly all having other substances in their system. So a lot of the people who died from kratom, they also had other substances in their system. So then there's the argument that comes with that of, okay, so if kratom is being used to reduce substance abuse, you have studies showing that there's substances also along with kratom in their body. So how much is it really reducing, or curbing that desire to use other substances, if other substances is found in nearly all of the studies where kratom was found in their system, or kratom related death, or kratom determined death. So not as strong as desired when it comes to relieving that. And again, it does have mood. There's testimonials that show that, it does relieve mood. It does relieve chronic pain. There are, positive benefits from short dosages. However, there's no research that proves anything from a long-term effect. And there's actually more that shows more harmful potential risk for a long-term and more addictive opportunities for that too. So to quote so there was a statement that was released in 2018 from the FDA, and Scott Golub, MD, he's a medical doctor. They reported 44 deaths, and he's the commissioner. He was the commissioner, during the statement time in 2018. He said this, and I'm going to read this quote. He said, kratom should not be used to treat medical conditions, nor should it be used as an alternative to prescription opioids. There is no evidence to indicate that kratom is safe or effective for any medical use. He also said this, and claiming that kratom is benign because it's just a plant is short-sighted and dangerous. After all, heroin is an illegal, dangerous, and highly addictive substance containing the opioid morphine, derived from the seed pod of the various opium poppy plants. He also mentions in the statement that the scientific data and adverse effect reports state that compounds in kratom make it so that it isn't just a plant, it's an opioid. And he also says there are safer non-opioid options to treat pain. So here's the thing with kratom: since it's not FDA approved, there's been a lot of development over the past 5 to 7 years to show that a lot of companies don't label. Yes, you can find this at smoke shops. You can find it at gas stations. Like there's kratom is sold very publicly in several. People smoke it, people vape it. There's powder form, there's capsule form. People consume it in many different ways, and sold in various locations. But the problem with that is it's not FDA approved. So if it's labeled it's generically labeled, it doesn't have to show that there's any type of combination with it. And there's actually a lot of studies that's been developing that a lot of these companies, they add substances to the kratom that they sell, because they don't have to really do much of the labeling, that FDA, requires. And so it's just, there's opportunities of non-labeled kratom use that can be mixed with a whole bunch of other things, which actually increase the harm risk of the kratom. And so it's interesting because there's actually like stories that have come out that showed that even one health coach called kratom legal heroin, and there was people who were accidentally getting addicted to kratom because they were consuming it in certain ways, and they thought it was just kind of, hey, let's just go and get some let's drink it, in liquid form, let's kind of put it in. You can put it in tea, you can put it in coffee, like you can put it in drinks, but it causes that momentary spike. And then because you get that momentary spike, you want more, and then you up the dose, and you want more. And that, it's interesting that health coach called it legal heroin because of the effects that it gives you and the closeness that it has from an addictive standpoint that's close to that substance. And I find that very, very interesting. There's a reason why, it's not FDA approved, and I think when it comes to kratom, you really got to use it at your own risk. As far as the numbers are, and the data shows that it's not very beneficial as far as the studies that are currently out, there's not any really support. There's not a lot of studies that really highly support the use of it. However, there are testimonies that show that there's been some effective use for them, when it comes to mood stabilizing and pain relief and substance use relief, and helping with other substance uses. And in this particular case with Sabu, he was reportedly given that it helped him temporarily. And George Janela had that interview, which he apologized for. And I think at the end of the day, man, it's way too early to tell, any type of details. I mean, that match was 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? From the reports that we already see, yes, he was given it based on what we were told. Yes, it did have a temporary impact. But as we see with these studies and with the current research, if that was, when we do get the toxicology reports, if they become public, we'll get to see more. We'll get to see more if there were other substances in him, why did he die, if it was substance related at all. Those things are important to find out. But again, too early to tell. But when it comes to kratom, as far as its use and a harmful risk in people, it's true. I mean, it's very true, especially if someone, or like Sabu is someone who's just his body was just beat up for so long, for being in the industry for 40 years. His body was just so just beat up from the type of wrestling that he did. And that oftentimes requires, unfortunately, a lot of use and abuse of substances. Not saying, I don't know if Sabu did it. I can't tell you if he did it, because it's, we only know what's in public, so you can find out yourself of the public information that's been given. But typically, it's a wrestler in that particular position, with the type of abuse that they've been putting on their body, it is very common, especially for someone who's been doing that so long. It's very, very common for someone to use substances to relieve that type of pain, and psychologically to create a mental way of escape from the pain. So basically, you're relieving the pain physically, and psychologically, you're escaping from it at the same time. That is a very, very dangerous concoction that can cause highly, highly addictive behavior. And so at the end of the day, we'll find out the details. But when it comes to this kratom substance, if it was, he did say it was used. He did say that Sabu's people gave it to him. That is the educational factors and the psychological effects of using kratom, and how it can have a very high risk if used as the type of dependency as a very wounded wrestler would have to use it. In this particular case, it was used. He went from being physically incapable to having a rush. Just think about the thrill, and think about the kick and the adrenaline and the potential addiction. It was the first time he did it. It doesn't seem like it. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it. If his people has kratom and giving it to him, that's something that could, for any wrestler, that could be a go-to. I'm so much in physical pain. Let me get some kratom. But if you keep doing that over and over again, and if you start to, or if you've been, using other substances, like the FDA talks about, those mixtures causes some really, really potentially harmful results, and even, fatalities, unfortunately, with the reports that we have. So we'll see, what the details of it is. I definitely, there's so many fond memories of Sabu, as far as just his professional wrestling career. Man, he was just so unique. He was just he was so fun to watch. And from, I know of people who worked with Sabu. It was it was tough at times to work with him, but it was thrilling, though. It was very thrilling from what I've heard, people working with Sabu. And man, I'm glad that he was able to be such a staple in ECW. If you think of ECW, there's, the handful of people you think of when it comes to ECW. One of those people is definitely Sabu. So prayers and thoughts and well wishes go to his friends and family during this hard time. So that is the class for the night. And let's get into the other segment of the show, which is, it is time for the question case. All right. We got some good questions, man. Ready to rock and roll. Thanks, y'all, for continuing to stay and rock with me, man. Y'all awesome, man. This show is awesome. So I have a lot of fun with this show, man. So I hope that y'all, were able to get some important knowledge on the use of Kratom, and it's potential short term benefits, but long term risks, and so hope you enjoy it. All right, we got the People Wrestling Channel. And if you want your comment on the screen, just go ahead and push. Just go ahead and hashtag Ask Doc. That stands out. That just shows me, hey, I would like. There's chatting going on now. We've civilized it up, and there's chat, and I'll just peek over and see some things going on. But if you want it on the screen for me to answer it, go ahead and hashtag Ask Doc. So Russo said on his list of what makes a mark about fans singing along, I think fans who can afford 20 grand tickets have more than earned the right to sing along. Here's the deal, man. At the end of the day, that's his opinion on what makes a mark a mark. I would say I would say, and I would add to that actually, if you're spending $20,000 for a pro wrestling ticket, there's a really good chance that you're a pro wrestling mark, or you're rich and you have nothing else to do with your money, and you're coming along just because it's the cool thing for the weekend. You really don't have anything to do. You don't really know much about wrestling. So a bunch of other marks are singing, and because of the bandwagon effect, like I talked about on a previous class, you're like, oh, okay, it's like a wave. It's like, okay, I don't really know. Like, it's like going to a game for the first time. If someone's doing the wave, you don't want to feel weird and left out. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Let me wave too. So basically, when someone's singing, if they spent $20,000, they don't really know the product that much. But if everybody else is singing, oh, okay, I guess this is the cool thing to do. Cody Rhodes, Cody. What did she say? Cody Rhodes. Okay, so basically, that is my synopsis of the person is either. There's a good chance the person is a mark if they're spending $20,000 to sing someone's name. I'm going to say that. Russo said Stapp is wrong for his life being all about wrestling. Doesn't Stapp a lot of money from wrestling? Look, again, man, dude, why are you asking me these questions about Vince Russo and Sean Stapp? That ain't got nothing to do with me, man. That ain't got nothing to do with me. These fans that carry belts around at shows, why not? That's the only place they get to show them off. Okay. So you're venting about, I guess, a Vince Russo video or something like that. Looks like it affected you quite a bit. So hope you feel better about that. So what's so wrong about fans being part of the show? Are they supposed to sit arms folded looking bored? I don't think that was the point. I think that the point was the overconsumption and the fact that the fans are basically controlling the show. I mean, I just had a conversation. I just had a class about that. I just had a class about breaking kayfabe that you're a part of, that you watched throughout the entire time. Just had a class about that just probably a couple weeks ago, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, about breaking kayfabe and how the spectators who are reacting to the characters, the unfortunate part about that is that the characters are now outside of the ring and the spectators are inside of the ring. And so that is one of the points of destruction when it comes to professional wrestling. Very, very harmful to the industry of professional wrestling. And so what are they supposed to do? Have fun, cheer, boo. Just like pro wrestling fans have been doing for millennia at this point. I mean, like, it's been over 100 years when it comes to like armories and circus tents and all that, where pro wrestling was a thing, man. Grappling, when it used to be grappling. You had the Toots Monts of this world back in the day, And so that was a thing, man. There were villains and there were heroes, and it was a show. And so, just like any other heckler in any other show, hecklers usually get discarded and rejected. But the problem with pro wrestling nowadays is hecklers are embraced, and that caused a ton of chaos. If you're at a show and you embrace the hecklers, they're heckling for a reason, because they're disoriented mentally. And so if you embrace that and then you allow other people start to do that, I mean, you're allowing the inmates to run the asylum. Now it's just an absolute train wreck. You can't have actors acting a show and the spectators start to dominate the show with heckling. I mean, that's a train wreck. That's a horrible production by allowing that to happen. James, RIP to legend Sabu. What's your favorite Sabu match or moment? I'm hearing his death might have been caused his recent last match, but I can't see that. It was a few weeks before he passed. I mean, yeah, I just did a class about potential based on what we see based on reports going out right now. One of the potential causes, we don't know. You know what I mean? We don't know that. It hasn't been public, as far as my knowledge, hasn't been public yet. Usually with toxicology reports, it takes a little bit of time. They spend some time, examining and things like that. And so, it's probably going to take a little bit of time. So we don't know. We don't know these answers. And so one of the biggest buzzing topics was people are going to be people, man. And I always say this, y'all know this. The IWC is going to IWC, and that's what they did. They IWC'd, and they were blaming Janela for a bunch of things, and they IWC'd, and that's basically what happened. So at the end of the day, I mean, I just wanted to break down Kratom. I just wanted to provide education, just like I do on the show every week, as far as personal opinions on do I think that okay, that's just an opinion, just like everybody else's right now. Let's see here, James. Not sure if you saw, but I was at the boardwalk the other day with my family. We can run into Bilata out of nowhere. It was so funny. He told me to tell you. I think you saw the pic I posted. Yeah, I think you tagged me. I liked it, man. That's good, man. I'm glad you experienced that, my man. Did I see backlash in the post show after? Apparently, we're getting a Cena Truth match, which is fine, but kind of pointless. As Truth won't win the title, but he could turn Cena face again, maybe. Now, here's the thing. I think the last point is a very valid, very cool point. No, I did not see backlash. I am busy and I didn't have time to watch backlash. I literally was working on Sunday. I took my mother to dinner. I have an annual dinner date with my mom for Valentine's Day, and came home and did some college professor work. And I literally put on, I saw the intro, I saw LA Knight come out, and that's as far as I saw backlash. That was like the first minute of the show. I just didn't have time. I didn't have time, and I never had time to go back and watch it. So, and I probably won't. I mean, I've seen enough. I've seen people sent me. I got a scoop that Cobb was potentially there. There was some backstage. There were some sources from backstage that told me that the feeling was that Jeff Cobb was going to debut, and so he did. And so I got a DM on Twitter of someone saying, thanks for the scoop and things like that. I reported it on Backstage Pass, and they thanked me for the scoop. And I get a lot of DMs thanking me for scoops like that, so I appreciate that support. And I've said this before, man. The Twitter DMs, like, those are the people. I mean, I can go. I think I'm gonna do a class about that. about the psychology of anonymity and why I talked about that before as far as negative commenters, but I think it's important to go further into that. Like there's such an anonymity when it comes to not only commenters on social media, but even from a criminal standpoint. There's anonymity that basically empowers people to make just the most dehumanizing decisions, just stupid decisions. And but fortunately, there's a more personable connection when it comes to like DMs, and like all of my DMs, like 98% of my DMs was has been very respectful. I mean, it was some I don't the people I block or don't pay attention to no more. I couldn't tell you one person's name that I don't talk to anymore. They're just completely meaningless to me. I do remember one thing though that I chuckled about, and this was probably earlier this year sometime. It was one person that just kept commenting on my posts, like obsessed. Just IWC is going to IWC. So it was this person that was just commenting negatively on my posts, and I'm like, anytime someone has the time of day to do that, hey man, clearly I'm important to you enough for you to comment on my post repeatedly. I think it's weird, but at the same time, hey, you care for me that much to want me to care about what you have to say, which I don't, but you want me to care about what you have to say. So interestingly enough, I kept getting tagged, and I just know I no sell that stuff. So I no sold it. And so I didn't notice the correlation until after the fact, but like there was the same person who was just giving me a bunch of negative comments, messaged me and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I'm praying for you." Very nice. So the same person who was trying to just, oh man, I think it's the cool thing for Dr. Chris to get heat right now. So let me comment. Hey, I'll let you know, man, I'm praying for you. Again, y'all, the IWC is going to IWC. All right, ran over. When it comes to Cena and Truth, I think the match is pointless. I did not see backlash, but I did see some DMs. That's where the rant came from, anyways. Someone sent me a DM and was talking about the show, and so sent me a DM about Jeff Cobb. And so I saw some things on my algorithms, and so I saw a still of Cena given the fireman's carry to the attitude adjustment to R-Truth. And so will a match come from that? That would just be to me, what a time, what an absolute time filler if you do that. Now, I always tell people I'm a sucker for R-Truth. Everybody knows that. R-Truth is just he's just funny, man. He's just, you want to talk about someone who's ageless and timeless. R-Truth, ladies and gentlemen, for the win. But when it comes to like, he's a comedy act at this point. That's how he's getting booked. Now, if it was whenever year that was, a decade ago, and that was probably 2010, 2011, wasn't it? Somewhere around there, the heel turn R-Truth. So I don't remember that. It was that one minor pay-per-view that was literally just one Capital Punishment, I think it was, that R-Truth ended up having a world title match against John Cena when he had the whole conspiracy, promos, which was funny. But I mean, at the end of that, you know, R-Truth he's been a comedy act that people loved, and people loved him so much at times. He won titles. He won U.S. title. He won the tag team title last year, I think it was, with the Miz. So, I mean, he has his moments, but at the end of the day, from a world championship perspective, no, man. I mean, why in the world would you have this on a major event? What a waste of time, man. And what a way to not build John Cena up. You know, if this was a squash match, perhaps, or if it was a DQ, if the match, if it's no contest because Cena, the match didn't start because Cena is just obliterating R-Truth, that could be one thing. But man, if they make this match at a Saturday's main event or something like that, and R-Truth gets an ounce of offense, and this is coming from someone who loves R-Truth. If R-Truth gets an ounce of offense, plan aborted, mission aborted, absolute abysmal decision. And so let's hope that don't happen. Danimal, Carlito asking Raquel on a date and saying that he would pay her back after using her credit card. Best part of Raw. That is hard to argue. I think that was a really, really funny line from Carlito. Elvis, do you think the Jey Uso title run is stale? I have not been intrigued by it yet, man. It's been 3+ weeks now, right? Yeah, over 3 weeks since he's had the championship. Approaching a month this weekend. We're almost a month out of WrestleMania. And the first 3 weeks of Jey Uso's run has been uneventful, man. It's been uneventful. They just tried to throw a bunch of people at him on Monday, which was just a cluster mess of an idea. But now it's a mess, man. It's a mess. Robert, I can't wait to hear what you say about Kratom, about the Sabu thing. Yeah, man. Very important topic. Very important topic. I hope you enjoyed the class. Danimal, sad news about Sabu. I saw Sabu versus Big Show when ECW just came back in 2006. It was a house show in White Plains, New York, and I was in front row. Great memories. R.I.P. Sabu. I'm glad you were able to see that, man. That was an interesting feud. I actually was fine with that feud. I think that was an interesting take. Like I said, I think if I'm not mistaken, their feud led to a SummerSlam match, and which was actually a pretty good match. Zubair, our friend Ricky, threatens to get me canceled due to his markiness, offended by non-mark opinions, and his lack of social awareness of jokes and humor. How can we help our friend Ricky to learn? Look, man, again, this is me language, not we language. That's something that two adults should figure out on themselves. And the two adults meaning you and Ricky. Unless you want some intervention. Hey, I'm about to hop over the Patreon in a minute. Sabu was prominently featured on tonight's Michael Pessolano with something, man. Sabu was prominently featured on tonight's episode of Dark Side of the Ring about the Sheik. Man, and that stuff very, very ominous. So ominous, man. I'll have to check that out. I'm a couple weeks behind. Dark Side of the Ring is one of my favorite wrestling documentaries, wrestling series. I always say this. I'm a sucker for a good pro wrestling documentary. I love it. I think it's great. Dark Side, love it. Watched every season of every episode of every season. And I'm behind. I watched Tony Atlas, Superstar Graham, and I got to figure out which ones in this series. I think there's been 4 or 5. I do remember watching Superstar Graham. I do remember watching Tony Atlas. And those are the only 2 I remember. I may have watched the third one, but I don't remember it. But those are the 2 I remember. I didn't watch Sheik. I didn't watch last week's, whatever last week's was. I saw on Twitter somewhere the trailer of who it was, but I don't remember who it was. I didn't watch it. So I got two to watch at least. Robert, I was lucky enough when I lived in Philly. I went to a lot of ECW events, and he said we run into so many memories I've seen in person. Nice, man. That's awesome. Cool. Zoo Bear, how's your work-life balance going? I know your schedule's chaotic. I hope your life is going good, and I appreciate you taking the time to do this. But see, that's what I'm talking about. That's what. See, Zoo Bear, that's an adult talking right there, man. Let's go. Let's go. I appreciate you asking me that question. My work-life balance, man, you know what, man? How do I answer that question? I got to be honest. I need more rest. I need more rest. 100%, man. I have not had a day off in 6 days. I worked Saturday. Usually, a lot of my days off are Saturdays, and I do, I have plans on Saturdays, but not work-related plans. But I had to work on Saturday, so I DJ'd a gig, and I was there for several hours, and I played music for a lot of hours. I emceed, and although it was fun, it was work. And I had another 6-day work week when I worked WrestleMania. Had to work on a Saturday then. So, yeah, man. Yeah. So I've been working a lot. I work a lot, as you know, and take care of my family. I take care of my family, man. That's huge for me. That's huge for me, taking care of my family. And my family loves me for it, and they support me for it. And I am going to go on a sabbatical soon. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to capitalize every moment that I possibly can, anytime, any fraction of any time, to get me some rest, even if it's like a few hours. And so I'll do more of that, and I'll keep doing more of that. So I appreciate that comment. I appreciate your care and concern, my man. Elvis, what are your thoughts on the first American Pope? He was voted in because they liked him. So there you go. Remember back in the Attitude Era, we had great matches and segments we looked forward to every week. Now, fast forward years later, we got Dom, who doesn't know what time difference is. Man, spot on, man. Spot on. Spot on. Ricky, my energy levels are very low. The warm weather is taking it out. I mean, how can I stop this from happening? Pray. There you go. You can pray. Pray till the whole earth shakes. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of warm weather either. Essentially, I'm a summer baby, but summer is my least favorite season. Isn't that interesting? I'm just not a fan of. I like a nice breeze, man. Give me like 60s, 70s. Oh, beautiful. Nah, like low 70s. Like if I can choose like a 10-degree radius of an ideal. Now, I'm cool with seasons. I like seasons. I'm an Ohioan, as many people know. Ohio born and bred. And Ohio, one thing I do love about Ohio, I love so many things about Ohio. Ohio's the best state in the country, hands down, by the way. If you don't like me, if you don't agree with me, go eat a Buckeye. So here's the deal. Ohio State is the best state in the country for many reasons. One of them is that Ohio is a 4 seasons state. And that I can appreciate. And the seasons aren't extreme either. And that also I can appreciate. So the summers are hot, and I don't like them. But I've been in Florida in the springtime, and it was 93 degrees. I did media coverage for WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. That Sunday, it was 93 degrees outside. and it was in April, and that sucked. Not a fan. And yeah, so it's it's one of those things. I love Ohio, man. Yes, it gets cold in the winter. Yes, it gets hot in the summer. But that autumn and spring sweet spots, oh man, absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. My back aches if I walk too much. This is mean I'm out of shape. Look in the mirror, and I think you can determine that yourself. I've never seen you in person, so I wouldn't know. There can be other reasons why your back aches too. Maybe you're working a lot. Maybe maybe you have a manual job that's causing you to do a lot of manual labor. Maybe you're in construction. Maybe you bend a lot. Maybe I mean, that doesn't always mean you're out of shape. I mean, you know where you work, you know how you look, you know your diet intake, you know your exercise levels, and you make the determination yourself on that. All right, let's figure out. Let's see what else we got. Well, let's see what else we got. Billy Jack Haynes was last week. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to watch that for sure. Robert, Kratom sounds like name WCW gave wrestler back then, or Vince McMahon changing wrestler name to Kratom. Doesn't it, though? Doesn't it? Kratom. The mighty Kratom. Like, I could just imagine, man. Why did you inject that in my brain? You just injected that in my brain as far as this Kratom, the mighty Kratom. Lightning bolts coming from the sky. And he's in a big forest area with he's got the trees and the foresty areas, and he's saying, I am the almighty Kratom, and I will destroy you in a matter of a flash. Insert generic WCW or new generation era pre, like the infancy of WWE Raw era 93-ish gimmick right there. The almighty Kratom, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. That's the show for today, man. Let's rock and roll, man. Let's rock and roll. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Fun times, y'all, as always. I'm hopping on a Patreon. Go over there and let's talk about I do Q&As, and I also give a little scoops out. Scoopskies. A little scoopskies on the Patreon. So go patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. At the end of the day, man, you being a patron is just saying, hey, man, I appreciate you with these classes, man. So you know what? I'm going to pay less than $1 a week and support your brand. I'm going to support the movement of pancakes and power slams. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to show you my support with my dollars, with less than $1 a week. And I'm going to give you more opportunities. And I'm basically, you're paying toward my research projects every week. Fair? Fair. Okay, cool. Patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. And with that, you also get, outside of supporting the show, you also get a free hangout. You get a hangout from the Patreon. you get a hangout with the Patreon with us, and get luck with your Springer episode in a minute. Come on, Robert, join us, man. Join us. You can be a spectator. Go ahead and hit up that patreon.com/pancakes and power slams, man. We're about to have some fun and about to do some Q&A, just like we do every single week. And I will see you there. Until let me go ahead and put this on here just for you to support, man. You don't have to come to the hangout sessions afterwards, although it's fun. Everybody's on the screen and we just hang out. People ask me questions. We do a Q&A. We do some cool chat. We do some trivia. We do some predictions. We just have a lot of fun on the Patreon. So you come and join us. Even if you're like, man, I'm tired, I'm going to bed, which I'm fine with that too. It's late. So I appreciate y'all even being up this late rocking with me. I've been working all day long, and this is my second of 3 podcasts. This is what I do for you on Tuesdays. I have a full day of therapy, pouring myself out to clients. I spend time with my family. I work out before that. I spend time with my family. I prep myself for several hours for these shows. I have a show before this one. I have this show, and I have another podcast, The After Party. That's what I do for y'all. So feel free to show your support and hit up that Patreon. And, if you don't, it's okay, man. I appreciate you regardless for your support. If you want to, there you go. Patreon.com/pancakes and power Sams. Less than $1 a week. Less than $1 a week. Not less than $1 a month. Less than $1 a week to show your support for the show. And I really appreciate that, man, very much. So we're heading over there now. Until next week, enjoy your week of resting. God bless. And always remember, as you very well know, I'm doing it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.